This is episode 4 of The Rose Vault, session 3 of 10 in the Journey to Remembering series. In this session, I remember the golden seeds, dormant codes within our own DNA, gifts seeded for humanity's awakening. What science calls junk DNA is in truth sacred potential waiting to be ignited in love. This is the golden seeds.
As you continue to be supported and easeful relaxation, begin to, in whatever way feels natural to you, call upon this essence, the universal mother of Ma'ar. Notice how she comes to you, how you connect with her. Notice now as you sense her presence. Let me know what you become aware of.
When she comes, I feel a big sense of love
Mm-hmm.
and this soft, soothing blanket of energy. It swirls above my body and then slowly, tenderly, and gently sinks in.
So experience that tender, gentle sensation as Ma'at sinks into your body. As you merge, feeling that love, that softness, experience that merging. And when you feel fully connected with her, let me know.
She snuggles in like we're one.
And does she have anything to say?
She says that Ma'at is just a persona of her, but that really you're talking to the mother of the universe energy.
What does that mean?
All her other lives are just personas.
What does it mean, a persona?
Like an avatar, a role in a play.
And why does she have all these different personas?
To experience and educate herself on the way things work here. She sees how everyone can love and has it deep in their soul. But somehow many have lost it along the way. And it makes her sad. Sad to see the disconnect of love. And it breaks her heart. In a sense, that's how you would describe it here. And that's all she wants for people, is just to give back to themselves with love and wholeness. Oneness is hard to explain to humans, but it's really just unconditional love of yourself. And she shows that it's so hard. It's so hard to help people get back to that. But there's always a way. Always.
And what is so hard about it? What makes it so hard?
This template of fear of everything. Fear is like a big black cloud here. And it's keeping people from loving.
Why is there fear then?
Polarity. But for some reason, fear seems easier to adjust to than love. And that's what's gotten lost along the way. It all goes back to greed. Greed pushes fear, agenda. And so here, most humans fear everything. They fear love instead of embracing love. They fear it. They fear it like a virus. I'm afraid to be in love. I'm afraid what love's going to do to me. I don't like being in love. Love hurts. Love breaks my heart. All these things are said all day long here. And love conquers all, as they say, which is true. Fear has taken over. Fear has taken over love.
Why and how has fear taken over love?
Well, they see fear as being bigger than it is. Love is more expansive, but yet they feel like fear is the ruler. They do this subconsciously, not consciously.
Why?
The virus from a different dimension, 2D. People are stuck in 2D, are permeating this fear. We're trying really hard right now to permeate this fear so that people don't ascend. They live off of fear. This fear is their fuel. They're trying to infiltrate this fear.
Why are they trying to do that?
They don't want Earth and its people to ascend. They will die.
They will die.
They will die with this heaviness that they're trying to keep. Without the heaviness, their density and their 2D reality, without that, they have no life. It just disappears.
Who are they?
They are many different beings. Not all beings are bad, just like in human form. Not all humans are bad just because they're humans. But there are a collective few that are bad in 2D. Reptilians, mainly draconians, those fallen angels, they're all stuck there, feeding off their negativity, feeding off 3D, 4D negativity. You're doing a lot of work and making a lot of effort to keep it. This is just a phase, we would say. We're all feeling this now in this reality because they're making a very large effort. They will not win if you were to do win or lose. Earth will ascend no matter what. What we are concerned with are the people that go with her, the souls that go with her. That's our concern.
And what is the context of your concern around these souls that will go with the Earth?
They stand the chance of staying in 3D or sinking to 2D. And when a soul sinks down to that or stays in that, they stay there for a long time, if not forever. But if you are not awakened to understand who you truly are, then you're not awakened enough to understand that that's not what your soul really truly wants. So our focus really is to awaken as many as possible. Even if those don't want to believe in who they are, at least they're awakened enough to understand that there is a choice. So ultimately what we're all here for is to make sure that they have their choice.
And in the past, we talked a lot about seeding and how souls seed for their next incarnation. So what has happened, or how does that relate to the souls that are stuck in this 2D, the lower vibrational states of being? Does seeding relate to them?
Can you repeat that, please? There's some noise in Angie's background.
So you talked about seeding.
Yes.
And I'm curious how the souls that are in the 2D or lower vibrational dimension, how does seeding play into their soul journey?
They're seeding, yes. Not all of those that are in 2D have come in as human form to receive that seeding that a human form would receive. But on the other aspect, those that have and are stuck in 2D and will stay in 3D, they have not learned their lesson with their seeding. They keep repeating the same habit over and over that is not in the highest good of all.
Yeah.
Like a fallen angel.
And so what can or is to be done about this?
Well, that is why we're all here now, star seeds, whatever you want to call them. high vibrational beings, people here spreading the word, waking up, allowing and helping others wake up to who they are, to see that these are just lessons that one is learning, and that people can change and your soul can change. Let's say they're like on their way as a fallen angel meeting, they murdered somebody, or they raped somebody, or they did viciousness, yes, to someone,
Yeah.
harm. They can still awaken to who they are and turn that around and for forgiveness. There are always ways to balance the soul out for learning these lessons. Some, however, spiral out of control and never learn new lessons and stay in that vibration for lifetimes. Those are the ones that get stuck in 2D, now 3D. Being stuck in 3D as we progress forward is not necessarily as bad as a 2D. And not to say anything is bad. There is no heaven nor hell, yes. But you gain more soul growth and opportunity by advancing through these dimensions of this earth plane. No soul is really set to go forth to want to stay in the same planet for eternity. That is not soul growth. That is stagnation.
And why is soul growth so important?
It's like here on planet Earth in human form, yes? You're born, you have goals, you set those goals, you learn, you move through, you achieve them, you grow as a human. Soul growth is that times infinity. You keep growing and growing to be what you want to be as a soul, the ultimate soul growth, moving across planets and universes and galaxies, evolving until you don't want to evolve anymore.
And what happens when you don't want to evolve anymore?
You implode as a star. You heard of stars dying, burning out? You burn out, but that's my choice. One soul does not have to burn out. It's up to them. If they're done, they're done. And it's their choice.
And what happens after a soul implodes?
All of their memories and all their wisdom gets stored in the Akashic records of the universe, so other souls can learn from it, like a recording, educated session.
And what happens to their essence?
Their essence is stored in the Akashic records as well, for others to borrow as needed, for their soul growth, in their play.
And so you've talked a lot about this seeding and how that was your main job. I'm curious to go deeper into seeding and just exactly how that works. The technical process of seeding. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, the seeding process is conscious energy. It's waves of energy by symbol. And those symbols get implanted by forms of energy in molecular structure into the DNA of that soul for that body for that period of time. It can be dormant until it is awakened, or it can be completely awakened at the moment of birth.
And these symbols, is this like what you were saying about the heart and the dagger?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is symbol. So when, for example, an oracle card that has symbols, light codes, and you stare at them, they really do ignite and turn on that dormant symbol within your consciousness and your DNA. Everything in the entire universe is symbolic and mathematical. Geometry is mathematical. Geometry is symbols, shapes. They're all interconnected. where really our seeds are symbols. If you took a seed, a real seed, like a tomato seed, and you looked under a telescope pretty closely, you would see that it is a shape. Our seeds are no different. They're just not in physical form as you would see a tomato seed. And this is how we move this energetic symbols, a packet of symbols, if you will, and we energetically move them into the soul's body as they incarnate. So when a, a woman, a mother, is pregnant, and as that embryo grows, and before the soul comes in, we're already thinking with that soul how they want their life to appear, the personalities in which they will be, with moving in conjunction of parallel realities, future, past, present, and past lives experiences. It's one big mathematical equation. And we will put together these seeds, these energetic seeds, to then put into the womb, energetically transfer into the womb of this body, into a baby. And then we will move the soul into it before the baby is born. This is how we see humans with personality and gifts in which they bring into the life of which they're being born, into that reality at that point in time. This is how we provide that junk DNA.
Junk DNA?
Yes, in your reality there on that planet, DNA is referred to parts of your ancestral heritage, and the other parts they cannot describe, more like will not describe, is called junk DNA. The junk DNA that is referred to by scientists is really our seeding DNA. They know this, they do not spread this information publicly.
Why not?
Because then everybody would know who they are, and there's no control.
So,
It would be no awakening.
so are you saying that the scientists only want to acknowledge the ancestral DNA and not the seeding DNA?
Yes, your government knows way more than they pertain to say and know. Another reason why we're here at this time. That is eventually going to crumble.
And what else can you tell me about this knowing and this hiding of this information?
There is much disclosure coming out. We would say it's all true. They've known for hundreds of years, they meaning your government or secret agencies that work with or without your government, deep into tunnels within your earth, under your feet.
And you say that they don't want this known because they want control. Is that right?
They want control of the people because they know that the people are very powerful once they know this information about themselves. And then the control of the power will be gone. We would say that is exactly what we want to happen because it has gone on far too long with greed, which is changing the energetic template of this planet and has for many, many, many years.
And so this greed is connected to this.
Yes, the greed is the problem with this planet.
I see. And so these seeds are symbols.
Yes,
And how are these symbols, these seeds created?
they're created energetically based off emotions that we've collected over years and years and years, thousands, decades, millions, from all different sources, all different beings collectively. our collective consciousness takes a record of all of these different ways of being, different ways of living, different ways of eating, different ways of communicating across all our galaxies, all our universes, collectively stored in the Akashic record. We tap into those and we start experimenting with all of that energy, all of that information stored until we create our own seeds. Once we create these seeds, and then they spawn off into other seeds like hybrid seeds, and we start planting these to see what makes sense, what works, what doesn't work, where we want our people to be eventually, what we want this experience for people to be ultimately. And that is why Earth is the big experiment. We have always used Earth collectively as this big experiment of seeding.
So throughout time, more and more seeds have been developed and grown. Can you take me back to before there were seeds and how the first seed was created?
Oh, yes. Before there were seeds, it was just a big black void. Stars were all floating around, right?
Mm-hmm.
A collective conscious of what do we do next, in a sense. So we had to play with energy and our collective conscious to decide what that looked like. This really comes down to source and how God wanted everything to happen and be. You're really asking us to go all the way back to when everything was created.
Yeah.
We would say, we can't talk about all of that now, but we will say that it was a big black void of consciousness. And thinking, where do we start? Over time, lots of things have started. Lots of ideas were shared. And then one would ask, how would you get ideas if there weren't anything else out there? Then I guess you would say, that's how it all began.
And what was the first seed?
Consciousness.
Is this, are you referring to the thought or what do we do next?
Can you repeat that louder, please? Angie has background noise.
Are you referring to the thought that happened when it was just the void and everything was floating? The thought of what do we do next?
Yes, that was the thought.
And so that was the first seed.
Yes.
Okay.
Energy has its own way of creating with or without consciousness. Energy creates everything. When you put ideas and thoughts into energy, that's where the magic happened, you would say. So we would say, yes, the first thing that happened was a thought.
And are you aware of what that symbol is of that seed?
Yes. The circle with a dot in it.
And that was the first seed.
That was the first seed.
I know I myself have seen that symbol. It's present in our society.
It's everywhere. Angie sees it too. That is the first seed. It's very simple, as was the first seed.
In our society today, we're not aware of this knowledge.
No,
Why not?
nobody was ready for it yet. But we must be ready now, as Earth is moving regardless if you want to go or not. She is her own conscious being with her own thoughts and her own seeds. She's a beautiful, magnificent being with lots of strength. Again, we would say we're here because we want to help the souls. Earth will always take care of herself.
So with seeding, how or is it possible for seeds to be removed? And what is that process like?
Seeds can be removed.
They
We
can
don't
or
remove them from planets per se. We work from the soul level. We can remove seeds from a soul perspective, energetically. Kind of like we do, we'll say an example for Angie. She had a tumor in the back of her head. It was small, but we had her sign up for energetic removal, of which she did and which we did. We removed that seed from her head. Energetically is no longer there. It's the same process for any soul, for anything, for any sickness, for any thought, for any energetic stagnation. You do it already for your customers or clients, friends. Angie does it already. Reverse. Any light worker that does energy work is removing seeds. We're all capable of removing seeds. What we're here to do now is to remove a vast amount of these seeds. And the more of those seeds that we remove, the higher the vibration lifts, the more awakened those souls become, and the more those seeds collectively are removed from the planet. That is the only way we remove from the planet, through souls. As we say, the planet will remove her own seeds, but not from a collective soul purpose and perspective. The planet will remove her own seeds from a different perspective, a grander, larger planet perspective. What is not good for her planet? So collectively, the souls and the planet also remove seeds together. But they cannot remove seeds together as one if the souls are not aware of removing their seeds themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so what would you say your main focus is with removing seeds?
We lift vibration, so this planet's going to ascend with the souls. Some seeds, negative seeds, hold a very high density, therefore bringing down vibration of these souls. When anything is lighter, it floats. When a soul is lighter in its vibration, it ascends. It's the same concept.
And what happens to the seeds when they're removed?
You repeat that, please.
What happens to the seeds when they're removed?
They go back into the Akashic records, then put into a jar, you would say, under a lock and key.
And who is responsible for these seeds that are under lock and key?
The keepers of the Akashic records.
And who are they?
They work with the ascended masters and source and Thoth.
Okay.
They are very tall, light beings, you would say. And they have very rigorous, maybe that's not the word, very high structural rules of who's allowed in to those seeds and who is not, who has access and who does not.
And why would there need to be access to seeds that have already been removed?
Because if you put those seeds in the wrong hands, there's total destruction that could occur.
But why would you ever want to access those seeds again?
More for experimentation purposes.
Right. And so there's been...
Once energy is created, you cannot destroy it.
Yeah. So that's where it's held.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. And so you've shared a lot of information about seeding.
Yes.
And it's been very informative and important. And up until this point, is there anything else that should be known right now about seeding?
Seeding is a very large project. Been going on forever. It will continue to go on forever. Because that is how everything is created.
Okay. So switching the focus a little bit, there are some questions that Angie has related to her lifetime now in 2024
Yes.
that she would like some clarity and understanding around.
Yes.
Specifically around the message to go to Egypt.
Yes.
She would like some clarity and is wondering if it has anything to do with seeding. And is there anything that you can speak to about this message to go to Egypt?
Yes. Her seeding, when she was roaming this planet for Ma'at, her seeding has everything to do with her reality now.
Okay.
Her seeding there was putting in dormant DNA or awakening process to another golden age, of which she was collecting and observing back in Lemuria, mostly Atlantis, and then in Egypt. And what that really, really means is those gifts that they wanted to bring forth from those times.
Mm.
What's important to note about the times of the Golden Age versus any other age, those gifts were awakened, meaning those seeds that she observed and took, collected, and planted were all high vibrational seeds of their gift. To put it in a way that you may understand better, in your reality is, let's say, someone, one of her subjects, is fully awakened to who they are. Yes, from a highest soul's perspective, and all the gifts that they do. So, like, we'll use example of light language and all things light language, translation, writing, hands, speaking, so forth. They've woken up to that master skill of light language in all its form. That was the seed that was then planted into many others at that time. So when they incarnated at this time, in this newer golden age we're waking into with the ascension of Earth, that when those people are woken their dormant seeds, they will all of a sudden come online with the highest mastery of light language. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So what she was really seeding in that time of Egypt, she was seeding the dormant gift with their personality. Personality and gifts go hand in hand. We wouldn't give someone a personality that doesn't and wouldn't do anything worthy with light language. Yes. So at the time of seeding personality, it was also gift giving seeds of the golden age. And the golden age really means the vast majority of people were awoken with their highest set of gifts or skills. That is a golden age. And so she observed and collected golden age seeds of their highest, purest form of seeding, a matured seed, if you will. And she then seeded these other souls for their reincarnations into their DNA of their soul template and into their Akashic records. So that when we as a collective universe wish to have another golden age to help Earth ascend into her highest form, we can ignite those highest golden seeds that are dormant within those souls. Those souls are here on earth at this time, in reality in which we talk now. Those souls that have not awoken to their fullest, highest golden seed potential lay dormant until they are activated. We will say this, and we are saying it with high vibration in Angie's body because we are downloading this information to her at this time. The only one who can truly ignite those golden seeds is her. We realize this may sound big to her, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very small.
Mm-hmm.
She planted them. She ignites them. Meaning, if the soul hasn't ignited them themselves to that point, those that are left over that need that extra help are ignited by those who seeded it, which would be Ma'at, which would be Angie. This is her prophecy. Her final incarnation is meant to do this very thing because this is where Earth is in her cycle. She is ready for these people's golden seeds.
And Angie was curious about what the big seed is for a week.
The big seed is the golden age seed.
I see. Okay.
That is as big as the seeds get here on planet Earth. The golden seeds. That's why we showed her a golden key. She is the gold key. She is the key of these golden seeds. There are others like her. There are 12 other people, beings, light bodies, such as her level of vibration here at this time. When we say she's one of the 13, she is. There are 13 collected souls at this time on Earth for this ascension process to occur. She holds the key to the golden seeds. The golden seeds allow those people to awaken to their fullest potential.
Those 12 people?
There's 12 different souls like Angie's here at this time. They all have their own initiative to assist Earth in her ascension process and the souls for their growth. Her job, as you would call it, is to ignite the golden seeds of their highest potential.
Of those 12 people.
Out of the 12 people, her initiative is to ignite the golden seeds, whereas someone else's initiative is to ignite pure enlightenment. Another one of the 13 is to ignite love in its purest form, so forth. There are 13 initiatives. Each initiative is brought here and is thought out and will be brought forth through those 13 different high vibrational souls, such as Angie. Does that make sense?
Yes, I just would like to clarify if Angie's role is to ignite the golden seeds within the 12 people or within all of humanity.
Within humanity.
I see. Okay. And how does she ignite these golden seeds?
The King's Chamber in Giza.
And what can you tell me about that?
She is to go into that chamber. There are light codes. Each light code represents each element. Each element is stored within the human body. When those elements are ignited in their fullest form, then there's an energy grid upgrade that occurs. And these beams of energy, of light, ignite out, and that energy sparks these seeds energetically from dormant to active. But not everyone will experience it. Those that will may feel it, may not. They may feel lightheaded, dizzy. Some may feel nauseous. Some may feel nothing at all. Similar to some energy bursts that are happening. Some may not feel these energetic pushes. Some may feel fully aware. But regardless, that is how these dormant DNAs get pushed open, ignited. And some may not feel their full potential after ignition, fully brought online right away. But we would say, we can't put a time on it, but a time frame may be short, or it may be in between short and immediate. And these gifts, these souls are here with these golden seeds at this time because those gifts are needed for the rest of humanity that do not have these golden seeds. Not everybody has these golden seeds. But these with these golden seeds, they bring forth such beauty and love. It's emotional to witness the potential of these collected souls will radiate so much beauty and prosperity and harmony and peace. That is what will lift this ascension process forward in a faster timeline. That is why it's hard for anyone to channel and say the time frame of this ascension. It can be anywhere between now and 2030, 2045. It really just depends.
And can you give a sense or the amount or quantity of people who this will awaken and affect?
Millions.
And
Millions.
millions?
Millions and millions.
Okay. And can you be a little more clear around what you mean by Angie is to go to the king's chamber? Can you be specific about that?
She used to get on a plane
Mhm.
sometime around the new year. And she used to ride a camel because she's always wanted to do that. She is to greet as many people as she can while she's there, as those people will know who she is. She will need to walk slowly through that area as that vibration will maybe make her a little sick. She will need to drink plenty of water and eat high nutritional food while she's there. She will need to wear linen clothing. She will need to go into the king's chamber for a night. And it doesn't have to be a full night, but she needs to be in there for some time. She will need 3 other people to attend that have high vibrational, so that when she ignites one section, that one of those high vibrational people can hold space. Those light codes on those walls will be ignited. She will see them as they will appear for her. She will bring them to fruition with reading them out loud with her hands and her voice. She will know exactly what they mean and what they represent at that time. When everyone is holding space, an energetic light will come through, igniting the stars of Orion and Sirius. That will change the energy grid around the earth, that will then send flares out to those with golden seeds. Those 4 people, which includes Angie, will be holding that space energetically and vibrationally. They will be very strong individuals. They will see and be told what is happening and what to do next while they're there in that space. As they will be talking to those outside of their dimension. It will take a lot out of all of them, but they will recover with rest, nutrition, and water. It will probably take them about a week's time to replenish their energy sources for themselves. This is when their work is not done, but they will feel big relief and live a more comfortable life. Their skills and their knowledge and their gifts will also be fully brought on. And that is when their real work begins. But it'll be easier for them because it'll come naturally and people will know who they are. And that's when the world starts to look different. It starts to transform, and how love will be more of a focus than that of fear and pain. And these gifts that come on board will heal so many people so much quicker with so much more ease and grace. This is when you start to see real change. This is when people open their eyes and understand there's more to themselves than what they thought. This is when they open their eyes and say, we will not take this from our government any longer. For this is not who we are, nor have we ever been. That is when the world starts to become a much more beautiful place of harmony and peace and love. And it will only get better from there. But that is also a time when people will make their choice to go or stay.
And how does this mission or journey that Angie needs to go on, how does it relate to this book?
This is her story. This is rewriting history. This is the big prophecy, the big moment. This is when shift occurs. This is how it happened. This is how it's been leading up to happen in this moment. This book is like a new Bible without saying it's a Bible. This book is for stories to come into the future. This book is rewriting your history.
Is there anything specific that Angie or Alex needs to know to continue on with this project? Any specific message or direction?
You're on the right path. You're asking all the right questions. You're steering the story. We would say, keep re-listening, because every time you re-listen, you might hear something different that will lead you down the path that you took today. Different questions with different knowledge. And knowledge that may not be written anywhere else. There are confirming things along the way for you and for Angie that you will see, read, hear. And that's just confirming that you're on the right path. But we would say that what comes out of this process will be something no one's heard before. And that is the whole reason for this process. We all have our own story. Every soul has its own story. Its own journey, its own information to share. Collectively, we may know all the same thing, but we may not all know all the details, and we may understand that that soul's journey is not for that soul to tell in its entirety. Angie's a little different. For our soul is also a keeper of the Akashic records. We can access whatever we need at any given time. No question is not. It's not in our vocabulary. We can answer any question. If you have questions you want answers to, this is the way to come about it. We would say, no question is really off limits at this point. And if they are, we'll tell you why. San Pedro, for Angie, was really just reminding her of who she is and what she has access to. We showed her the inside and out of the Akashic records. That was the whole point of her journey, was to remind her that she is the keeper of the Akashic records. She is a creator of Akashic records. That is part of her gift, is to read these Akashic records for people. Now she knows. Now she has a real confidence to understand and believe in herself. She can access anything at any given time.
Is there anything that she needs to know to support herself in her current life situation, circumstance?
Trust. She needs to trust. We've been saying this forever. She should trust in herself and of who she is. And then everything will start to just fall into place. Confidence in herself of who she is. She's an incredible soul, as we all are. To everybody. Once we understand who we are, and we trust in who we are, we have confidence in who we are, everything just moves smoother. It's like the act of surrender. She just needs to surrender to it. The way she can surrender to it is just let it be.
And she was also curious about the significance of the blue lotus flower under Gita.
Yes. There is a big blue lotus flower. It's more energetic, physical form as you would think here on Earth. It represents rebirth and strength. Giza is really two triangles, one up and one down. It's not just what you see on the surface level. It repeats that pattern into the ground. And so it points down to a lotus flower, an energetic lotus flower, almost like a hologram of a flower. It holds that energy and vibration of rebirth and love and strength. Anything and everything a lotus flower represents in the world. So when she's in the king's chamber, when she's ignited all that stuff, she's igniting rebirth. She's rebirthing those souls into their true transformational state.
And what was the meaning or significance of the tree that she saw?
She was correct. It's the tree of life. She's rebirthing life into these souls. That is what it represents.
Wow. Is there anything else that we should know or explore for today?
Can you repeat that, please? She had background noise.
Is there anything else that we should know about or explore today in this session?
No, I think that we are complete today.
And one last question.
Yes.
When you say we, who is we?
We is the collected soul of Angie. We are all her souls in one. A soul isn't always in one place or another at one time. Her body is an avatar body in a sense. And so all of her souls that are spread out are all collectively in here today, talking to you today. And we all guide each other. And we are guiding Angie at this time.
Understand. Okay. I'm curious if you have any guidance before we close on the direction to go next.
Oh, yes. We need to dive back into a few of her past lives as they have some important information at certain points of her past lives that intricately woven, weave into this storyline of seeding and different feelings and emotions that are pertinent to your story. We would say that today was good to see full spectrum and dive into details of what we discussed up to this point. But we would say going forward, diving deeper into past lives of these pivotal moments in which shine very big lights on some of these emotions that are trapped, in particular to ancestral patterns, as those are one of the largest amounts of seeds we are removing.
Okay.
These repeated patterns of emotions and traumas that are stuck in souls that wish to move forward and grow, but are not aware of how to remove these seeds to do so.
Okay. And is there any guidance on a specific date or a specific life?
972 is a good place to start, as it shines light on ancestral patterns and when they started to occur.
Okay. Yes, you mentioned this date last time.
No. Yes.
Okay. We'll pick
Ancestral
up.
patterns will be a large chapter in your book, as they are affecting everyone at some point in their life, in either illness or blockages or their personality bonds. And they must need to be removed or understand how to remove them for their soul to move forward. And these ancestral blockages, as you will, and seeds are blocking some of the golden seeds activation. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I honor and appreciate you speaking with me. Thank you.
Yes. Can you speak louder for her, please, to bring her back?
Yeah.
Thank you. And we will note that we timed this perfectly so that sure she or her ego would be distracted by these noises so we could have a real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we thank you for today.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Angie, I'm becoming aware of my voice directly speaking with you, Angie, in 2024. Connect again to your breath. Connect again to your body. Feeling yourself in your room. Noticing your breath deepening, the temperature, and sensing the walls of your room as you prepare to come back to waking consciousness. Noticing small movement in the tips of your fingers, a deeper breath, becoming aware of the light beyond your closed eyelids, becoming more and more aware of this waking reality. And as you feel it's time, making larger movements with your body, feeling all your energy back into your body. And as you come fully back into waking consciousness, all your energy will be within you. You will feel whole, grounded, present. And as you're ready, your eyes will slowly open, gently coming all the way back, getting grounded in your body,
My eyes won't open.
Okay. So just take your time then. Sometimes it takes a while to come back. You can try kind of gently squeezing your hands together, feeling the density that's here. And just making more movements, becoming more present in your body. Just giving yourself the time and trusting that when it is time for your eyes to open, that they will open. Acknowledging all the energy and effort that went into the session today. And just using your breath to support your eyes opening. Yeah. Just continuing to take deep grounding breath. You've been moving your head slightly from side to side. Slow movement, fully being in this body. Yeah, feeling your face, feeling your skin. Maybe intentionally noticing 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 4 different textures. Noticing 3 different sounds in your environment. Noticing the smell. How are you feeling?
Better. My body felt like it was torn apart like the entire time. This hand was way over here.
Wow.
And this one was way over here.
Wow.
And that my legs were like hatched and floating. And then all of a sudden, although my hands were opposite and farther away, they were like really tense, like super tense.
How does it feel in your body now?
It feels better. I still feel light, but I feel connected.
Okay.
Which is good.